minutes to go in normal time. Liverpool 3-0. Corner taken quickly, Origi! Yeah! Yeah!
Hello and welcome to the Redscast podcast after Liverpool have dismantled Brendan Rodgers' Leicester, joined as always by Ste. How are we doing?
Afternoon. Yeah, it's a happy day, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been waiting for us to batter someone for ages, and we've had Atalanta and Leicester in the space of...
Leicester was a shock because, I mean, first and foremost, we put out a stronger team than I thought was going to be available.
Yeah.
Although that wasn't our strongest team by a long shot. It was stronger than I was expecting.
Yeah.
But then to go out and just turn Leicester over like that, I was expecting a much better game from them. And I don't know whether, is that down to, did we just not allow them, or were they just not on the game, or what? I don't know what the story was.
I think that performance will go underrated, but I think that was one of the best team performances we might have ever seen from Liverpool. And I'm not getting ahead of the station, so to speak. It's just more when you look at who we didn't have. So we didn't have Van Dijk, we didn't have Gomez, we didn't have Trent, we didn't have Henderson.
Thiago.
Yeah, didn't have Thiago, didn't have Salah. So to go and win that game that comfortably, it's up. I mean, Barcelona had more riding on it, but in terms of like the injuries, it's up there.
Yeah, I say all things into consideration, it was up to, I mean, we haven't had much of the season, but I think up to now it's probably the best win of the season.
Yeah, easily.
All things taken into account. Like.
Easily, yeah. It was the biggest game of the season. I thought that before going into it. Last year, if you remember, it was around December time we played Leicester, and it felt like the biggest game of the season because they were the ones behind us again.
That was away as well, wasn't
it? Yeah, so it felt like the biggest game of the season. Now, I mean, whenever we play at Anfield, you expect us to win, but I didn't expect us to get beat. I expected a draw, to be honest. Leicester is so good going forward, but the thing with Rodgers is he's not consistent. Is that the way? Because if you think Liverpool, he bottled it when he went to win the league. Leicester fell off after Christmas last year.
He's a great coach.
Yeah, he puts the foundations in.
He's such a good character, you know.
Wonder he's on his envelopes out, but
he could be like a world class coach. But there's just something
that stops him progressing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's crazy, like, but I thought Jamie Vardy against us always seems to not be as good as Jamie Vardy can be, don't you think?
Yeah, he has. I mean, the season they won the league, he tore us apart.
Yeah.
He's another one, like a little bit more consistency, and that sounds a bit harsh because of the amount of goals he scores.
Yeah.
Because he does score like serious goals. Little bit more consistency. Imagine the numbers he'd be getting.
Yeah, no, it's just
because he's quality. Like, you can't take that away from him. He's a quality player and he's a great finisher.
It just seems he's like Milner, and he seems to be getting better with age. Vardy. He's in my fantasy footy team every year, and you just feel like this is your last year, Vardy. Yeah. You're getting on, but he smashes it. But going into the game, it was nice to see Alisson wear Clemence's old top, wearing it.
Oh yeah, and then he put it down behind the goal.
It was nice to see that, and then Schmeichel also left the gloves behind the goal, and it's good to see that mutual respect from fellow professionals, no matter what the team is. I mean, there's a banner in the Kop with the Tottenham badge on as well, about him. So it was good to see that mutual respect. And people were saying, "Oh, that clean sheet was for Ray. He can come and watch over us every week if he wants."
Absolutely, yeah.
But it was good to see us get a clean sheet, because I don't know if you're in the same boat as me, where you think that clean sheets this year could half be wrote off, given that we just don't know who we're playing at the back. I'd be happy if we went the whole season and conceded every game but still win the league. I wouldn't care.
Oh yeah, win the league first and foremost. Yeah. But like, how you do it doesn't matter.
I think we will, you know. My brother has pinned his tweet on Twitter saying that mark his words that by Christmas we'll be 6 points clear.
That would be unreal. If you look at how many injuries and setbacks we've had with COVID and all that, for us to even be within touching distance of, I'm going to say, for us to even be within touching distance of the top four come Christmas with the depleted squad we've had is nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, but one thing in our favour, if you're lucky, is over Christmas, we've actually been, although games are packed together, we've been given a good Christmas period. So we've got Brighton, Wolves, Fulham, Tottenham, Palace, West Brom, Newcastle.
All games you would say are winnable.
Yeah, I mean, the Tottenham one's probably the hardest, and that's at home. So, you know what Liverpool are like at home. And then the other hardest game, potentially Newcastle away and Southampton away on the 2nd of Jan. But other than that...
It's not like we haven't got a derby, we haven't got to play Man United, we haven't got to play Chelsea.
Yeah, now I was...
teams that sometimes would worry you.
So before the season, I was saying about how Spurs were our biggest contender. Look at their fixtures over December. Look how often they're playing. So they're playing on the 20, they're playing on the 26th, the 29th, the 3rd, the 5th, the 10th, the 12th, the 16th, the 19th, the 23rd.
Yeah, I think it's probably, if you put that up against ours, it's probably very similar.
But then they've got to play Liverpool away. They've got to play Leicester. They've got Wolves away. And then they've got Leeds at home.
Yeah, I mean, you would argue that majority of them, they're winnable for Spurs. I would have said they'd struggle against Leicester, but after the performance Leicester put in last night, I'm not so sure. If Tottenham turn up...
Leicester always seem to play bad against us, though, don't they? Like, I don't know what it is. Because last year, I remember it, everyone was saying this is the hardest game of the season. And we just turned them apart. And this week, hardest game of the season so far, turned them apart. And I just don't think anyone can catch us. I mean, I do think Tottenham are the biggest threats. I think City have fell off this year, and it looks as though they are going to probably try and bring in Messi. Seems as Pep's staying. But I just think if Liverpool win the league this year, they should then be regarded as probably one of the greatest Premier League sides ever.
You've got to start putting our name in that category.
Is it the greatest Liverpool side ever if they win the league this year?
It'd be the most impressive single league win if we win it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But are they the best Liverpool side ever?
I think until we've won 3, 4, 5 titles, you can't compare.
But I was thinking about this, but back in the day, Liverpool, Everton dominated. That domination just isn't here anymore. United dominated to an extent, but since then, there's no domination of English football. I mean, there's Liverpool and City, and then there's a gap. But then City have obviously dropped off this year and last year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you had United, and then you had Arsenal for a while, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then Chelsea.
Another team who's fell off, Arsenal.
Yeah. And Chelsea are on the way up.
I don't know. Chelsea are...
They're on the way up.
I think they'll crumble.
I hope you're right. I'm not a Chelsea fan.
I don't think Frank Lampard's the right man for that much money, being able to get anyone you want. I don't think he can, although he is a superstar, I don't think he's been a manager long enough. Why would a superstar manager listen to Frank Lampard who's only managed Derby? Well, if you're judging him from
a players he's got it. Timo Werner,
yeah, but that's just money. Money talks. Like, they're paying Havertz like 280 grand a week, something stupid.
But he could have got that he could have got that.
Could he though? Yeah. That much? I don't think so.
PSG, could have gone to Real Madrid.
Nah, Real Madrid haven't bought anyone. I think they're waiting for Mbappe. And Barca as well. Not bought anyone, have they? So I think he's only went there for money, to be honest. I think Havertz has probably made the wrong move in his career, because I don't think he was ready for the change to the Premier League just yet. And to be have that amount of money on his head when he's, 21, 22. He hasn't been the Havertz that you would remember from the Bundesliga if you watched it. Like, he hasn't set the world right.
Don't get me wrong, I am more than happy to watch them crumble.
Yeah. One player they have done decent with Thiago Silva. He's been a good buy and the keeper. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, back to yesterday's game. Looking at them stats, did you think that there was that much? I know we dominated Leicester, but 24 shots dominating.
I think Bobby had about 14 of them.
You know what? I was so happy.
Made up for him.
Yeah, I was so happy to see him score.
Because we've been as guilty as anyone getting on his back.
Yeah, and I sort of been thinking about it, and I done my own head in, because Carragher said it yesterday on Sky. He was like, Liverpool fans know that he doesn't just add goals to the team, but then you do want him to add goals. He's a striker at the end of the day, but
you can't have it all, can you?
No, but for me yesterday, if it wasn't Andy Robertson, it was Roberto Firmino for man of the match. everything he'd done was just world class.
Tell you what, he didn't start too well. I don't know whether you noticed in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I was watching it. Socially distanced with Ashley. And he gave the ball away 4 or 5 times in the first 10 minutes. I was like, oh, come on, Bobby.
Yeah, but when he got into it...
But I was cheering him on. I wasn't like on his back.
I think it'd be impossible to ever hate Roberto Firmino. No matter what he does, he could be as bad as Voronin. I'd still love him.
Oh my God, I can't even see that being possible.
But yeah, he just grew into the game. He was dragging players out of position. He was the pass before the pass multiple times.
He was coming deep. He was coming very deep into the midfield.
It's like he was trusting Jota and Mane to do it all. Rightfully so. They're the ones in form.
Was phenomenal again.
James Milner, by the way.
What a guy.
When I seen he was at right, he played right back, I think, at the start of his career for England.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. He has played right back before anyway. So when we seen he was playing there, it weren't that I was filled with confidence because I knew that Milner does a job wherever you go. But I was like, we're going to miss. Usually when Trent doesn't play, we rarely miss Trent.
Because Milner hasn't got the pace that Trent's got.
Yeah.
And I was worried that, which they tried to do a few times, was that they would set Vardy onto Milner.
Yeah. He said after it, I would as well. But yeah, so when he played there, I just thought, the balls aren't going to be Trent style. Dare I say it? Milner's balls yesterday were probably more on point than Trent's have been this season.
Trent has not been at his best this season.
Yeah, and it says it because Robertson is flying ahead of him on the assists, which is I've only just put him in. I took Trent out, but yeah, Robbo's flying. So usually Trent smashes it, doesn't he? So
Trent's having a decent season, right? But we're used to Trent having a
world class season. Yeah.
So it looks a bit disappointing, but if you look at his stats, they're probably all right for a right back.
Well, have you seen? Someone said yesterday, I think it was Carragher or Martin Tyler said, since Andy Robertson's debut for Liverpool, only Kevin De Bruyne has got more assists than him.
Than Robertson?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he must have overtook Trent, but don't forget Robbo's been flying.
Robbo must have 6 already this season.
Yeah, he is flying this year. He is killing it. He's been our best player every game. I'd go as far as saying Andy Robertson has been world class this season. Even for Scotland, I watched that game. He was decent.
He's captain, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think he's sort of took that leadership of Liverpool's defence as well. With Van Dijk dropping out, I think Robertson has took that captaincy trait, so to speak.
It's good to have that many leaders on the pitch, innit?
Yeah.
Have you seen that wingman?
Yeah.
So I think it's brilliant. Like,
I've been watching that.
He's just like a little jack in the box, isn't he? Like, full of energy all the time. It's like he is how he plays. That's like
he loves Liverpool as well.
He'd probably do my head and no way to spend any amount of time. It'd be like you're too much like me.
See how much he loves the city, which is boss. But it's so similar to Glasgow. Like when you go up to Glasgow, it's so similar to Liverpool. It's crazy.
It's a dock city. It's a way.
Yeah, it's a proper.
City,
we're not very liked from the rest of the country, us in Glasgow. But yeah, I love Andy Robertson. But Milner yesterday, unbelievable.
I
and
was
then
worried. I put one of them, build a bed type of thing. Yeah. I had Milner for a booking because I thought, come 70 minutes, he's going to be knackered. Vardy's going to run past him, and he's just going to pull him down.
He was one of the best on the pitch, weren't he? And even when he moved into midfield, when Nico came on, he played that killer ball through to Bobby, I think it was, when Bobby hit the post. And it was just at the first touch he had while he was in midfield. And it was just like, wow.
How close. Yeah. How close was that to crossing the line, by the way?
10 millimetres, a centimetre.
Have you seen that picture? I don't know whether you can throw it up on here for anyone.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it up.
It's a blade of grass.
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah. You've seen the look on his face. He just walked away, as if to say.
It's crazy how the game that I fell in love with as a kid, now it was mentioned yesterday in Sky, the game that we fell in love with as children is gone. Like, when you're scoring a goal now, you're celebrating, but then you've got to wait to see if the fellow in Milton Keynes says it's a goal or not. And then in any other, like, say, Sunday League game, look at the Garcia goal. Imagine if that, I know we went on to win the Champions League off the back of that, but imagine the Anfield that night was bouncing. And if that would have got ruled out, do you know what I mean? It's just, it's ridiculous. And then you see like a millimetre till 1 centimetre and 10 millimetres, whatever it was yesterday. why is science involved in a game of football? You know what I mean? Like, I understand it wasn't a goal,
I mean,
but
in
it
principle,
was.
it's to take away any doubt, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was a goal. If out of it, 99% of a football is over the line, then yeah. If it was like for 50-50, you'd understand, yeah, that's not a goal.
Well,
but
but
that was a goal.
While that rule is there, all the ball has to be over all the lines. They're always going to have that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's even like VAR has been a shambles again this weekend, but we'll get onto that. But it's just football's just not football anymore, and I don't think anybody understands the rules. Like referees, if they go over that monitor, they're changing the decision.
Because
they're not
told.
Yeah, they're not sticking with their original decision, and they want to be seen to be like.
You want a more ballsy referee to say no.
No, but even Michael Oliver done it in the Brighton Villa game. I think he was on.
That penalty.
Yeah, and
my God.
he changed his decision. Now, I can understand when they're going over to the monitor, they want to change the decision so it looks as though VAR is working. But if it's not the right decision, why are you changing it?
It's got to be a clear and obvious mistake, and that wasn't a clear and obvious mistake for him to even call him over. No. It was like the faintest of touches on the ball before.
It's even like when you look at the United game, the West Brom keepers came out now. They had to retake their penalty. David Coote, the one who got took off Liverpool, the United fan, was reffing United.
It's funny that.
Crazy. But then they had to retake. So West Brom didn't get a pen, which was 100% a penalty. He kicked inside the box. The player didn't really. I think he did go down, didn't he? But he didn't get the pen. It was a pen. It was stone. It's a penalty if you've ever seen a penalty. Then United have a pen and he saves it, but he come off his line, which is a big thing this year. So we had to take it again. Fernandes scored. Now this keeper's saying, I can't come off my line. Bruno Fernandes can do a hop, skip and a jump before he takes a pen. So if a keeper can't come off his line to save a shot, why can a player start dancing around? It's like he's going strictly before he takes a pen.
Yeah, it's
just crazy. Like, and people are making pens too complicated. I don't know if you've seen the Everton game. Fulham can't take pens. You've seen Lookman do the pen.
Does that when he fell over?
Yeah, and then he fell over. But the way he ran up, you knew he was going to fall.
Yeah.
There was no way you could control that ball.
Just keep it simple. Run up, kick the ball.
Yeah, but like all these different people, like players using different techniques for pens. I understand this to fool the keeper. But if a keeper can't simply come off the line a bit when he jumps to save the ball, why can the player do that?
Yeah, no, it's one of them. Where do you draw the line? I remember the first player I seen doing that sort of thing was John Aldridge.
See, I don't remember him playing.
His run up, he would run, and then as he was about to get to the ball, he'd slow his run right down and take a step. So he didn't stop, but he almost stopped, and it was like pushing the boundaries where he just got away with it.
Don't get me wrong, Bruno Fernandes' run up, if you can master that, is world class. The fact he can jump and then shoot straight away, it's talented. Yeah. It's severely talented.
But it's bordering on breaking the rules, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't understand why he's allowed to do that, but a keeper can't be off the line by like an inch to save it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. A keeper being off the line an inch doesn't make you guaranteed to save that penalty, because where the penalty, in my eyes, where the penalty is positioned, you should be scoring more than you miss.
The one I hate the most is Pogba.
Oh yeah,
that stupid tippy toe thing.
Do you know, I don't even like Salah's run up because I feel like he's going right.
Yeah. There's that like curve thing.
Yeah, but as long as you keep scoring, I'm not really that bothered. But
for a while.
Yeah, Liverpool back then. Would you go as far as saying that? Like
back, as in, I don't think we went anywhere.
I think people are thinking we've had a bad season, or we haven't been Liverpool because of the Villa defeat and the Everton draw. But we haven't been the same perfect Liverpool from last year.
That just shows that the standards that we're held in.
Yeah,
100%. If people think that, look where we are. We're joint top of the league, and apparently we've had a rubbish start to the season. Now that just
Spurs are absolutely flying.
Yeah, that just shows the light that we're held in.
Yeah,
to think that because we're not absolutely smashing the league already, that's not a good season.
It's ridiculous.
Any other team in the league would, well, I suppose other than Spurs, would swap places with us. They'd have our rubbish start to the season if it put them where we are.
Yeah, 100%. Look at Everton. Like they were winning the league the other week. And now they're what? I think they're sixth or something like that. City are 10th.
United 15th, is it?
It's crazy. It's a crazy season. I said that someone mad will do something this year. Whether Villa finish in the top 4 or something
the
crazy.
You're looking at, that shouldn't be there.
Burnley at bottom of the league with Sheffield United. What's that all about?
No. You're looking at Leicester, Southampton, and
Southampton are flying. Danny Ings, but he's injured and so they'll probably...
Villa, maybe. But I think Leicester, Southampton will be the two that might hang on.
I think Leicester have been there or thereabouts every year, haven't they, since they won it?
Yeah. They can't be looked at as a big surprise, but I think Southampton would be the one for me.
Who maybe going to get up there.
Maybe,
yeah, maybe, because Sheffield United aren't doing anything.
No.
They'll be the teams to go down this year. I think they'll be the next squad.
Newcastle again, disappointing.
I think everyone's disappointing, to be honest with you, bar Liverpool. I'd go as far as saying, like...
You can't take away from Spurs as well. They're top of the league. They're there for a reason. And you wouldn't have expected them to be there. So
if Mourinho stays in the mood he's in now for the rest of the year...
Because he's not that miserable.
Yeah, they've got a chance. They've got a chance. If Mourinho decides he wants his payoff, then it's a game over for Spurs.
Yeah, they need to do...
But I feel as though he's trying to prove a point. As to say, like, well, I can do it with a team that's not ready as well.
Yeah.
Because I think Mourinho is a world-class manager, but in recent years, he just hasn't been bothered. The only thing I don't like about Mourinho is his loyalties.
Yeah.
Now, I understand a job's a job.
He's not from here.
But to go from Chelsea, who is arguably his club, to Tottenham, that's like going from Liverpool to United. It's the exact same. For Chelsea fans.
No. I think Tottenham and Arsenal.
Wouldn't you go as far as saying you lost respect for Rafa when he went to Chelsea? Because I did.
A bit.
So it's the exact same with that.
I wonder would he do it back home? Would he go like he's come from Porto, hasn't he? You wonder would his loyalties lie with his home club at Porto, or would he then go off and manage, say, Sporting Lisbon or Braga or any of them other teams? That'd be the true test of his loyalty.
I can see him going back to Porto, to finish his career.
The loyalty lies at home, not in a foreign country. I wouldn't have a loyalty to. So if I went away and managed Real Madrid, then as a foreigner, I wouldn't have any loyalty to Real Madrid. As much as I maybe I loved it there, Barcelona coming off of me money, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead. So they'd probably be throwing pigs' heads at me and all that sort of stuff for it. But
I don't know how I'd take it.
My loyalty's Liverpool. I don't care about anyone else. His loyalty might be Porto.
Yeah, his loyalty's Porto. He's Portuguese, isn't it? Like he is a Porto fan, but it's just for me. It's just a bit like, nah, you don't do because he's managed United, Chelsea, Tottenham in the Prem now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's just nah. No, Jose. I remember us talking that he was going to come to Liverpool, and you know what? He's just one player who I rarely and made up that we never got as a manager. I think he's too arrogant.
Yeah, I just don't think he's the right fit for us as a person. He doesn't suit Liverpool.
Yeah, I think the next manager will be Linders or Stevie flying again. 11 points clear.
Weekend,
yeah, 11 points clear at the top of the Scottish League.
They're already gilding a statue for him, aren't they, up in Glasgow?
I think if he wins that, I think they will. He's loved up there. Every time I've been up to Glasgow in the air, you're a Scouse, like, Stevie G!
They were naming doors after him up there.
Yeah, James Milner's door.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at the Prem then, does having Fabinho at the centre half fill you with a hell of a lot more confidence going in for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
Now, I know Matup's made the biscuits.
Don't even have to finish, yes.
I know Matup's made the biscuits. I know Kite has made the biscuits. But I've got a mad one. Do you think that the Ox will play right back while Trent's out? Now, here's my thinking behind it. The Ox has on record said that he likes playing central midfield because he has the most of the ball and can run the game. Mm-hmm. Liverpool's system is the left back and the right back have the most of the ball and control the game. So a right back, right wing back, however you want to call it, would be the position that Ox would have the most of the ball. Although it's out of his favourite position, do you think that that'd be something that he'd play? And do you think it'd work, more importantly?
First and foremost, he's a football player, so absolutely he would play there.
Yeah.
Like, all professional footballers would play. Just give me a game anyway, boss. It's one of them, innit?
Yeah.
Or, the majority. You'd have your few. Select Balotelli, etc. That would... No, I'm playing in my position, I think.
Yeah.
Chamberlain would absolutely play right back, and I think he would do a job. He's got the qualities to potentially be a good right back, because you can probably highlight his defensive frailties or whatever, but people do that with Trent.
Yeah. So the only thing that does me head in is I think Robbo would be a better centre half. I'm only thinking the possibility of Matip getting injured this season is very high. So then I think I'd rather trust someone playing out of position. As good as Nat Phillips and Reece Williams have been coming in, when it gets to the business end of the season, I don't want to be relying on them. You don't.
Yeah, I've said this before. I'm the other way. I would rather have a less experienced player playing in position. I would rather have Nat Phillips there than...
I'd rather have Robbo play centre-back and Tsimikas play. And Robbo's come out and said that if he had to play there, so be it. Only because, like you said, Robbo's defence is a lot better than Trent's. So he'd probably be better as a centre-half. Tsimikas is good enough to be playing. I
just don't think he's tall enough.
Robbo?
Yeah.
But Gomez isn't the tallest, you know.
Gomez is 6'2" or something, you know.
Is he?
Yeah, it's just that he's like stood next to a giant most of the time.
What's Robbo?
Yeah, he's not little. Andy Robertson's only about 5'9", 5'10".
About the same as me then. 1.78 metres. Whatever that is. Let's have a look.
We have to work out the...
1.78 metres. In feet.
So
5'8".
So he's only little.
Jesus.
Gomez is over 6 foot. Yeah, 6'2".
Yeah, 6'2". What's Van Dijk?
He's about 6'4", isn't he? 6'4".
Yeah.
I'm nailing every one of these.
What's Trent then? Because I just don't think
probably the same as Robbo, isn't he?
I just don't think I could put Trent in centre half though.
5'9". 5'9". There we go.
Yeah. Interesting.
Maybe he has got the defensive qualities, but I just think he'd be too much of a target for teams.
I think this Billy Cometio will be the one who plays, to be honest. 6'3".
Yeah. I say we have got enough back up there in the youth. I would absolutely play any one of them three before I play Robbo there.
Would you?
Yeah.
I don't know, you know.
I don't want too many players out of position. Experience counts for so much, but...
Well, what about then going forward? Do you think Hendo or Thiago is going to play the holding midfielder role? If Fabinho is nailed on as a centre half for the rest of the season, who's going to be the first choice holding? Because it's hard, because Thiago's world class as a holding midfielder, but he's also world class at going forward and coming up.
Depends on how Klopp is going to set up with them. If he looks at that team and goes like Rafa did with Alonso, where he said he may look like he's a holding midfielder, but he's a deep lying creative midfielder, so he would have probably played Thiago there. Yeah. Where he is the deepest of the midfield, but he's the creative player, so he can get the ball and he can play it about. Not necessarily a defensive midfielder, just a sort of deeper lying
box to box type thing.
Yeah. And as we've seen in the few little clips of him playing, he can break up the play.
He's unbelievable. He doesn't lose the ball.
No.
He's made it glue. Here's one for you then. Before we go on to the Champions League game on Wednesday. Erling Haaland apparently has a £67 million release clause next summer. We should be paying him whenever he wants, shouldn't we?
Yes. Yes.
Scored 4 goals again on the weekend, didn't he?
He's ridiculous, isn't he?
But then it makes me think, I can't see us going to Dortmund and getting Sancho and Haaland. I can't see us getting Mbappe and Haaland. I can see us getting one of. And I can, maybe one of the front three then goes the other way.
Yeah.
Maybe not to Dortmund, but goes
out
in a sense.
Anyway, yeah. Out the James Milner door.
Yeah, but if you're asking me to pick out of them three, I don't want Haaland. Haaland would be amazing in our team with Trent and Robbo. Unbelievable with them balls flying in. But if you can only pick one of them, I want Sancho. Even over Mbappe.
Really? Yeah.
For me, Mbappe is a superstar.
Yeah.
Klopp makes superstars. Sancho arguably is a superstar now, but Klopp could make him better. Klopp could make Mbappe better, by all means. But Mbappe's going to come in as I am the number one in France. Like I'm France's golden child, basically. Like you telling Mbappe what to do is going to be a lot harder than telling Sancho what to do.
The way I'm looking at it, I'll probably edge towards Haaland because I'm looking at what are they coming in to replace?
I think you're coming in with your rose-tinted glasses in the sense of Liverpool have always had an unbelievable striker.
Yeah, that's probably it for me because I've been spoiled over the years. Yeah. Like, I'm looking at Mbappe coming in. If Mbappe comes in, it's in place of Mane. If Sancho comes in, if Sancho comes in, it's in place of Salah. If Haaland comes in, it's in place of Bobby. Maybe Bobby drops deeper. Maybe Bobby drops whatever, but in that position. And I just think Haaland offers so much more going forward, extra than what we've got.
I think is more of an obtainable deal would be Haaland, given a £67 million release clause. And you could probably go to Dortmund and say, we'll offer you Firmino for Haaland. And they'd probably take it. Because they're going to lose him.
Not as a straight swap. I think we probably have to give them some cash along with it.
Well, if their release clause 67 million, Bobby's probably worth more than that. So Liverpool probably say to Dortmund, we'll either give you £67 million cash or you can get Firmino. And they're probably going to take it because...
Look at the age difference. How old's Bobby now?
28, yeah. But for,
still in his prime, I guess.
Yeah, and it just makes more sense for them. I think we'll probably go for Mbappe more, Nike athletes.
Commercial thing.
Yeah, and Mbappe can play across the front three, where Sancho's more of a right winger. Mbappe is naturally right, but he can play across the front three. Sancho, you only really see him play right for Dortmund, and obviously Haaland's a striker. So I think in terms of a player who can come in like Jota and play everywhere, I think you'd be looking more towards Mbappe from a commercial point of view.
Talking about Jota, like...
By the summer.
Why are we even talking about bringing in Mbappe? Why are we talking about bringing Haaland when we've got this absolute wonderful player?
I remember when we bought him. I mean, the day we got him, feels like yesterday. I remember saying to all my mates, when we were seeing that we were linked with him, I was a bit like, yo, decent.
That come out of the blue, Jota, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because all the talk was about Thiago at the time, and then all of a sudden we've got
Jota.
Yeah.
And then it was, obviously we've seen it was 45 mil.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought was, why didn't we get Werner then? And I was a bit annoyed, but then obviously I've realised the logistics of Werner, which I had to pay 45 mil up front, which we haven't with Jota. Yeah. And Jota's main offset was from however Werner, the fee this year. Wolves fans tweeting us saying, obviously I didn't watch them, so you see Wolves fans tweeting saying, we've absolutely fleeced Liverpool for Jota. And it does start making you think like,
what do they see?
Yeah.
We don't watch it.
For them, for Wolves who have got a world-class manager, world-class team, for them to have let him go. I mean, Jota probably wanted to go to Liverpool. He refused to play, didn't he? Yeah, there was a game when he was meant to play and he went on. He travelled with them and then wasn't even on the bench and then got off from the stadium. It was all over Sky, and it was obviously because he wants to go to Liverpool. But I remember thinking like 45 mil for him. He hasn't set the world like at Wolves. And then it's mad how playing with better players instantly makes you superstar.
Yeah, because he was probably... Like, say, we don't watch other teams that closely. He was probably making similar runs and getting into similar positions at Wolves, but he wasn't getting that service.
Apparently Liverpool were after him for ages, weren't they? Because Pep Linders said after we bought him, he's a pressing monster, someone who we've looked at for ages. And Liverpool don't buy players based on stats anymore, is it? It's based on, but he buys based on stats, but it's not based on goals or assists. It's based on how long they can run for, what the energy levels are, the body fat. It's crazy. It's more about the science now of the footballer, and then Klopp makes them ultimately into what they are. And I think Klopp has proved with Jota, we should never ever doubt. And I'm not bothered what any Liverpool fan says, not one person. I've seen one or two people on Twitter when we signed Jota saying, mark my words, he's going to be the next £100 million player to come on to Klopp. Yeah. Fair play to them. They knew. Yeah. But 99% of the Liverpool fan base didn't expect Jota to be this good. He scored 8 goals. Already.
It is still early days.
He scored 8 goals already. Yeah. I think it's in 7 games.
It's been a fantastic start for him. I've seen this happen in the past and they've tailed off. I'm hoping that's not going to happen. Prime example, I wouldn't say quite at the same level, was Iago Aspas.
Now, yeah, and he's boss in Spain.
He had the best pre-season I've ever seen a player have. I think he scored 6 goals in 4 games pre-season, right?
And he can't take a corner.
He went missing. He gave the ball to... He that stupid corner against Chelsea in that game.
Yeah.
But he's turning it up in Spain.
He's one of Spain's best players. Yeah. To be fair to him. It's like Luis Alberto, though. He's unbelievable at Lazio, and he done nothing for us. I suppose players just don't suit clubs. You've got to look like De Bruyne and Salah. Look at them with Chelsea. Chelsea are notoriously... They've got, like, Bayern Munich have now got a kid an English kid, world class.
Oh, he was the one we were watching, wasn't it?
Yeah, come from Chelsea.
Yeah.
So it shows how many.
They just haven't got the patience. They've got too many players. I don't know. I wouldn't like to be a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be a Chelsea fan. Seeing all these players lose, all these world-class players, you lose in like Salah, De Bruyne.
Yeah.
It'd be horrible. Proper horrible. I'd crack up as a Chelsea fan. Proper crack up. But yeah, moving on to the Champions League. If my intro works, let's see if it.
Oh, doing something new here, are we?
Yeah, we're getting technical. The actual Champions League tune. Wednesday, we're playing Atalanta again at home.
Yeah.
Home. My mind went then for some reason. So yeah, playing Atalanta again Wednesday, building up to that. Thought I'd had a little break into it. Seems we don't run adverts. Champions League tune, everyone loves it. Do you know what? I remember when we first got in the Champions League again, we'd been out of it for years, and we got into it, and I tweeted the Champions League tune and thought, welcome back. And then 2 years later, we won it again. But yeah, do you know what? It's one of those songs, makes no sense, but
got with it, innit?
It gives you goosebumps, doesn't it? It's like the second.
Do you know what it does? It brings back memories for me.
Yeah.
Like you get that tune and you go, oh, remember that night.
When I haven't heard this for so long, it takes me back about being in the match. Yeah. I'd take anything to be back in that crowd now.
Yeah.
Anything.
Like, I got a bit annoyed with that song for a bit because they decided to play it when we played. Like they decided UEFA that it had to be played at this point, and that point was when we would normally play You'll Never Walk Alone. So it interrupted our sort of pre-match flow.
Yeah, it's played before the game, innit? And they waved a stupid thing around. Before we go on to Atalanta, on the subject of the Champions League, Bayern Munich, we said before, are the only team that scare us. Now, after watching Neuer against Spain and Neuer at the weekend, they don't scare me. Bayern Munich. We
can get at them for sure. But
Leicester,
they still love the team.
like the game yesterday, Leicester, 3 at the back. Minute I seen it before the game, I was like, we're going to win. Even though I wasn't confident prior to that. Then you look at Bayern, they play far too high up the pitch to play against Liverpool. The one time we played them, we battered them. And everyone was saying, Bayern Munich's finished. They haven't finished. Liverpool are just world class. Yeah. So going off that, Liverpool should, in my eyes, win the Champions League this year easily.
I think easily might be a stretch, but I think
who's a threat? I was thinking this. There is absolutely nobody in that Champions League who I look at and think, don't want you. Give me Bayern Munich over 2 legs any day of the week. As long as we don't get Bayern in the final, we'll win the Champions League.
Yeah, I do think we'll beat them over 2 legs.
Easy.
But I'm with you. If we got them in the final, that would.
We're notoriously not good in finals. As though we've won the Champions League, we're not good in finals. When we won Tottenham, it was one of the worst finals I've ever seen. But I just don't think anyone worries me. Atletico Madrid to an extent, but I haven't really seen them to see how they cope with El Party at the top of the league, aren't they? So
I think we are more of a worry to everyone else than anyone else is a worry to.
Yeah, we're the biggest team in the Champions League, hands down. But do you know what? There's teams going to drop out. Like I think Real Madrid will probably go out. Yeah. Shakhtar top of that group with Inter closest behind, and Real Madrid have won 1 point, maybe 2.
And either Ajax or Atalanta are going home.
Yeah, one of them are going home, which is a big team out. Barca have looked awful this season. Juve haven't looked amazing. Morata's been the best for them, but you don't even need a fast centre back to target him. There's nobody in the Champions League that I look at and think I'd like to avoid you. Like if that draw happens after Christmas or before Christmas, whenever it is, and we get Bayern Munich in the last 16, I would like.
If I was going to get Bayern Munich, the earlier the better.
Yeah,
I think that the longer the further they progress, they're like a machine. Bayern Munich, the further they progress, the better they get. So if I could knock them out in the last 16, I would rather take them in the last 16 than say in the semis or the final.
I'd take them now, definitely. Yeah. They've got injuries as well, haven't they? Because Alphonso Davies is injured because David Alaba was playing left back.
Out as well, was he?
Yeah, I think Kimmich was out. But I'm not saying that they wouldn't be back for January. Like, they're probably playing against us. But Bayern Munich this year, again, every team's looked weird without fans. Bayern Munich and another team like that.
And that's a thing that...
For Manuel Neuer to concede 6 goals against Spain. Spain aren't Spain anymore, Steve. They're not what they used to be.
The fans is the thing that concerns me. How many nights at Anfield have we had where the fans have...
Yeah, we wouldn't have won the Barcelona game without the fans.
So, I don't want to be left in a situation against a team where, you know, we're needing a big win at Anfield because it's just not the same.
I'm going to throw Madden out there and say I reckon the final is going to be Liverpool City.
Okay. You think City will progress that far?
I do. I really do, because I think they're going to give up on the league. I think, honestly, Pep isn't asked about the league anymore. Yeah. I think he just wants that Champions League.
You know what? That'd be my favourite team to beat in the final. Out of all the teams left in it, I would love to beat them in the final.
Do you really want Liverpool go in numbers to finals? City are going to go in what numbers they have, because it's the first Champions League final. Do you really want to put a gang of Scousers and a gang of Manx in Turkey?
We know our way down there now, you know what I mean? They've never been before.
Yeah, I know Istanbul's like second in Liverpool, but you just don't want to... You think back to the police at Madrid was sound, like they were looking for trouble. Liverpool and Tottenham fans were sound. They were looking for trouble. Liverpool and City fans ain't going to be sound.
I'm not talking. I don't care about the fans on that point. I meant just beating a team on the pitch.
To beat City in the Champions League final, I'd love it. That's what I want to happen.
Obviously, they cause murder.
But I just don't think I fancy being in Turkey. Don't like them. But yeah, I do think City are probably the ones who might progress to the final, and I think they'll probably try and keep Liverpool away from them to try and get them there, because Pep against Guardiola, the Champions League final, it's so marketable. But yeah, going into the game on Wednesday, I think it's worth mentioning, I know it's pros and cons involved in the Champions League, Klopp's rant, which was cut from the TV yesterday.
Yeah. It's all over social media.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen it, just go on Twitter and type in Klopp rant. We played on... copyright.
No? Oh,
yeah, we played yesterday evening, 7 o'clock. Now we're playing Wednesday night against Atalanta. But then we're playing 12:30. 1 plus is we're at home against Atalanta, so we're not travelling to Italy.
But then we've got to travel to Brighton. It's like about as far away as you can get.
And then you got Brighton on Saturday, 12:30. Klopp is completely right. But like, I don't think... I know Ole's had a moan, Frank's had a moan, but it's going to take your Rashfords, your Sterlings, your Harry Kanes, your...
Yeah.
Who else is
not
there?
Joe Gomez, apparently.
Yeah, Kyle Walker. It's going to take someone. One of England's
I think Harry Kane's got to be one of the golden boys. Harry Kane or Raheem Sterling. And if one of them picks up...
Calvert-Lewin doesn't play in Europe, but to an extent. Yeah. But look at Tottenham's schedule. They're playing in the Europa League in the group stages, the pitches. We know ourselves from when we've played in there, they're shocking.
Heavy.
Yeah, they're so bad. So it will take someone like Kane or that to get injured, because Klopp's saying that he's asked questions why, and he just keeps saying contracts with Sky, contracts with BT. Now, if Sky and BT are the ones who are doing this, like, why? I understand everyone wants to watch every game on telly, but what Klopp's saying makes perfect sense. We play on Wednesday against Atalanta in the Champions League. Why can't we have the late Saturday game or the late Sunday game? Why can't that game at 12:30 on this Saturday be like bloody Aston Villa?
You know what? The early game on the Saturday should absolutely be any team who's not playing in Europe.
West Brom are playing Sheffield United this weekend. Why can't that be the early game? What a game that is, by the way, because they're both bottom. So like, why not put that on? It's bizarre.
He said the players will be turning up on Saturday shaking, and the one thing that got me the most poignant part of that like little rant was he went, I feel like just sending the points down. I was like, that's a big statement. I would rather just give them the points and not play the game. I mean, it's because of this Atalanta game to an extent has a lot riding on it. If Liverpool win on Wednesday, we're top of the group. We're through top of the group. Nobody can catch us. So it's got to win. It's got a plus to a negative. I think a draw qualifies, doesn't it? But
a win makes us win the group. So if we can win the game on Wednesday. Sorry, I'm not in the Europa League anymore. Not Channel 5. If we win the game Wednesday, then that then allows Klopp to ultimately play his kids for Ajax and Midtjylland the last 2 games. That would then probably see Adrian start, it'd see Nico start, Tsimikas start, it'd probably see Shaq, Jones, even going far as down.
Yesterday.
I don't believe Shaq's injuries. I think he just probably onto his hair touched up. You'll probably see the likes of like Jake Kane and stuff like that all playing in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Reece Williams, giving them that Champions League experience as boss for the kids anyway. Even if they never make it at Liverpool, they can never have that taken away from them that they played Champions League football for Liverpool Football Club. But I do think that he's going to go all out for Atalanta. And I think you'll probably find that the Brighton game is where you might not see as many as the superstars. I think Thiago could go as far as saying might start Wednesday. I just think the sensible thing would be to focus everything onto this game. Get out the group, win the group early. 2 games left. Champions League's done then. Don't need to worry about Champions League till January. If we get beat by Ajax and Midtjylland, who cares? We've topped the group.
I've always said you've got to play the game in front of you.
Yeah.
Right. I get that there's a certain aspect now where you've got to take into consideration players getting tired and whatever. But first and foremost, you play the strongest team that you think can win that game in front of you.
Yeah.
And once the qualification is done for that tournament, so once we're qualified for that group, then you can start thinking about we don't have to play the strongest team.
Yeah. I'd play Pisa Luga against Ajax and Midtjylland. That kid who's coming from Brazil. The one Alison recommended, yeah.
Is he in the Champions League squad though? Is he eligible?
I don't know.
I don't think he'd be eligible, will he?
But there's been videos of him on training at Melwood.
I've seen a video.
Look good. The fact that he's being fast-tracked straight... I mean, he played for the under-18s the other day. But the fact that he's fast-tracked straight into training with the first team, I think it speaks volumes of him to probably an extent that maybe Adrian might go.
Maybe you get to adjust your Champions League squad over
January,
the winter, don't you?
Yeah, before the last 16. Maybe. But I don't think he'd be in it then, because then it's knockout games, isn't it?
Well, you might get ahead of Adrian, yeah.
Or Keller. I wouldn't mind either of them going, to be honest. Keller is not good enough to make it Liverpool Football Club. And Adrian, he isn't a good number 2. As much as we tried to defend him and say, to stick behind him, it's just stupid stuff that does me head in.
He's had, I
remember Lovren used to speak and then it just go wrong. Like last year, we can win the league without getting beat, and then we got beat.
Yeah.
The Liverpool Twitter put on that we were 64 games we were beaten the other day, and Adrian replied back, we're going to win 64 more, then 64 more after that. And it's like, shut your mouth. Don't jinx it. Just keep your mouth shut and sit on your bench and leg it. It just done me head in.
There was a funny coincidence about that Leicester game. Was the last time we had that run. That ended in 1979-1980 season. It was Leicester that beat us. And
you watch, it'll be Brighton and Adam Lallana will score the winner.
They beat us 2-1 at Anfield to break that run. And the goal that we scored was an own goal. And when that own goal went in yesterday, I was like, oh no, come on. Let's not do it again.
I just think from start to finish yesterday we were dominant. And I think, but going into this game anyway, Wednesday, is it fair to say we should expect a different game to the Atalanta we've seen in Italy? Would they have learned from their mistakes in the sense of they can't play the football they're used to against Liverpool? Not bad against them, because the fact they come and had a go against us, I have so much more respect for them, because so many teams now, it's half horrible watching Liverpool because people just come and throw 11 men behind the ball and it's just like, we'll get them on the counter. Yeah. And it's so boring to watch. It's not football. It's a crap version of football. It's like how Tony Pulis used to play. I don't like it. Football should be attacking, trying to make spaces. That's just how football should be. So the fact that Atalanta we went to Atalanta and we played them and they played like that, I had a lot of respect for them. They weren't bothered.
They will do the same.
At Anfield as well.
Yeah, I think they will. I think that's a team who plays like that. That's their philosophy, that's their style, and I think to change it for any particular team, you lose your identity.
I really hope they do it now. I'm not saying I hope that they come and play like that so we have a high-scoring game like we did in Italy, and it's good to watch. But you know what? That Atalanta game was one of my most enjoyable games watching it this season.
I like watching two teams trying to play footy.
Yeah.
Having a go at each other.
Even so much as yesterday, like Leicester were going at us, and then you think back to the derby, for example. Everton had 11 men behind the ball and we're trying to whistle on the counter, and it's so boring. It's just boring to watch. Even the City game, they weren't playing as City play against us, and it was so boring to watch as a game of football, and that's what I do like about Atalanta. But
I would accept a defeat to a team who come out and play like that to us.
When Villa battered us, I was just like, fair enough.
But if they'd played 11 men behind the ball, soaked it up, and then hit us with a sucker punch and beat us 1-0 on the 90th minute, I'd have fumed. Like,
imagine that.
I hate it. We've had so much of that in the past, where with different managers, where we haven't been able to come up with a plan B or break teams down, and I've seen that so much over the past 20 years, and we've got beat by Sunderland. God, one of the worst games I've ever seen.
The beach ball?
Battered Sunderland. What?
Is that with the beach ball?
No, not that one. It was. I'm going back a little bit further than that. I think we had 23 shots on goal. Right, they had one and they beat us 1-0.
I hate them games.
It was the most depressing night of football I think I've ever seen.
That's why I like Atalanta, but I just think this game's going to be closer than what we experienced in Italy.
I'd be happy with that. I want a team to come and play, and if they beat us, fine. You know, you've come to play, you've played, and you've beaten fair and square.
Well, a few good players. Well, that Haypower, I think, was the one who I think we should keep an eye on going into this game. He was the one who I thought was the most.
Was he the forward?
No, he's the right winger.
Right, okay.
The forwards. He's dead famous in terms of football. Gomez? No, they're forward. It's the other one. Is it something Muriel? He used to be massive.
Muriel.
Yeah, he used to be massive. He's at them now. But yeah, looking to the team then. Who plays?
I don't know. I would.
It's hard, isn't it? Because it's like, is Klopp going to he knows the Champions League's more or less done. Is he going to go play for a draw just because he knows we're going to win that group? Is he going to go and try and win the game so that the group's done? Is he going to go and try and draw it so we're just qualified and focus on Brighton? Or is he just going to be like, we can win this group by beating Midtjylland in a few weeks?
No, I don't think he's got that in his philosophy. I think he'll make about three or four changes, I think, because Kate is now injured, so that'll be a fourth change. I think he'll make. It depends, because Salah's now available, isn't he?
Yeah, so well, the UEFA Champions League testing is today, Monday. Yeah. As long as he passes that testing, he can train with the first team because he's had a negative Liverpool test. So providing he passes the UEFA test today, he can be in the squad. Now, if Salah's in the squad, Salah's playing.
Yeah, so absolutely. So I would say he's going to play Alisson.
Yeah.
Right back. Probably Nico.
He's that Atalanta.
Yeah, I think he'll play Nico, Fabinho, Reece Williams, and Robbo. Then midfield will be Milner. With any luck, Thiago and Curtis Jones.
I think Jones will start just based on how good he was against Leicester.
Then it'll be Salah. I think he'll go with the strongest front three, actually. I think it'll be Salah, Mane, Firmino.
It's hard because I don't think he'll play Milner right back, given he played 90, didn't he?
But I do think with Henderson not being fit, he will play Milner as captain.
Is Hendo out for this game as well, yeah?
I don't know. I've not seen any pictures of him training or anything, but I'm assuming that he's out.
Alisson, Nico, Fabinho, Williams, Tsimikas.
Okay.
Thiago, Holden.
Assuming he's fit.
Yeah, with Jones and Keita. No, Jones and Wijnaldum, sorry.
Oh, Wijnaldum, got a
and then Salah, Jota, and Mane.
I will probably say Wijnaldum would play if Thiago's injured.
I think, potentially Jones might not play and Bobby might start centre mid.
That could work, yeah. I mean, it's good that we've got their players that can move about. Especially the way we're getting injuries, it's good having versatile players that can slot in other places.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the likes like Matip, and
he'll need a rest before he breaks because he's had a couple of games now, hasn't he?
Yeah, you could even potentially see Robbo start centre back and Tsimikas play.
Stop it with the remote centre back shout. I hate it. I just can't. No, not for me.
Reece Williams has done a good job when he came in, to be fair. I think he probably will play more than likely with Fabinho. I suppose it's just a matter of, we're saying about right back. It should be Nico. He is Trent's backup. It should be Nico. The fact it wasn't Nico at the weekend, even though Milner was unbelievable, that shocked a few of us, I think.
Had he played a lot of minutes for Wales, though?
I think he starts for Wales now, Nico. Yeah, I think Giggs starts.
Milner doesn't play international football, so he's probably took that into consideration.
I think you could even go as far as saying we might see Shaq.
If he's fit.
Or Minamino.
Yeah.
Obviously, he come on for his 1 minute appearance as usual. Yeah, with
got
the
a shot off, didn't he?
But I think one thing we will see with this game is Klopp makes his changes a lot earlier on, and he's got 5 subs. He said this yesterday. The reason he makes changes in like the 88th minute is because he doesn't want to use all those subs in case someone gets injured and he's got to play with 10 men. He's always got to keep someone there. Where if there's 5 subs, it allows him to ultimately make 4 subs and keep
make 1 at half time, probably, if anyone's looking a bit.
Yeah, and then it allows him to keep a sub there just in case, and I can understand why he wants the 5 subs
actually, I could probably, if Thiago's almost ready, I could probably see Thiago
getting 45, yeah.
Depending on how the first half goes, he's more likely to play second half if that's the case. I forgot about that.
I feel as though out of the 2 games coming up in terms of Atalanta and Brighton, I feel as though if you want Thiago to be ready for any of them, it's Atalanta, because I feel like that's the harder game than Brighton's best midfielder is Adam Lallana. He is by watching it, and we know how to stop him. He's been in Liverpool. He's still Jurgen's player ultimately, because I just feel as though Brighton haven't got anything to worry us, where I think Thiago would be more needed on the weekend. I mean, on the midweek. Yeah, because it'd be, I just want to see him play in the Champions League, and I want to see him get a run of games.
I just want to see him in the shirt again, kicking a football, because he's beautiful.
Yeah, it's just that we just need to keep him fit.
Yeah.
That was the worry when we signed him, weren't it? Injuries.
Yeah. But I mean, this injury's not down to him, that's down to just a bad tackle. You can't put that down to him being injury prone.
But one thing I can say is Richarlison, in my eyes, is Everton's best player. So the fact that he got suspended for that has massively helped Everton decline. They lost 3 games. They lost every game that he didn't play. So I can take Thiago being out for a few weeks to Everton losing 3 games on the spin.
I almost got on the bench myself until I fell over yesterday.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, score then for Wednesday.
3-0.
I'm going to go 5-1.
You think they're going to come out at us and we're going to pick them off again the same way?
Yeah. I think Liverpool are back in the rhythm. I think high-scoring games are... I ultimately think Liverpool know they've got to outscore the opponents again, like we used to when Klopp first came in. So I feel like we're going to see more goals getting scored, just in case.
I think in the past few weeks I've had my concerns about clean sheets. At the moment, has Fabinho conceded a goal at centre-back yet? Because he's played 3 or 4 games, I'm sure we've kept a clean sheet, or I think 1's been the most we've conceded.
Well, put it this way, since Van Dijk's been injured, we have had a better defensive record.
Wow.
Since Van Dijk's run out this season anyway. But to be fair, when Van Dijk before he got injured wasn't up to his high standards this year, was he?
No, I think that's the same for most of the squad at that point in the season, because of the way.
I think they need the motivation, don't they? I think the minute fans come back in, I think it'll just change everything.
Yeah.
I just feel like Liverpool, the players just want the fans to just be there and just sing like we are the champions. Do you know what I mean?
We're doing well, and we're heading in the right direction, and
we're that spoiled. We're moaning about games when we're top of the league.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just think when the fans come in, it'll just give that extra kickstart
to the season,
and I think at that point, if it comes, that'll be when we start to pull away. I think up until that point, it'll be pretty close. I think once the fans are allowed back in, I think we'll just sort of step it up.
Yeah.
And that'll be it. We'll be off then.
Hopefully you're
Touch wood. It happens soon.
Well, the way to end it, hopefully you're right. We'll be back on Thursday or Friday before the Brighton game. hopefully another win to discuss. We don't like discussing defeats.
Not that we do it very often.
I think we had 2 total in our podcast history, but we don't like it. No. So we want hopefully a win. Hopefully either or is right. We'll take either or. Yeah. But yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to leave a like, rate, and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, do follow the podcast on that as well. Any support is appreciated. And yeah, we'll be back on Thursday. Thanks one for listening. Up the Reds.
Up the Reds indeed.